Hi everyone, welcome back. Thank you for being with me today. So I'm going to show you how two colours on a base can have a completely different look but using the same colour palette. So these are my two base colours. I've got two canvases. I'm going to talk about the colours, but I've got a gold yellow and I've got a bluish grey light. They're my base colours and I can't wait for you to see the actual colour palette that I'm going to use on both of them. And the results are going to be totally different. So this is about whether a base colour really can have an impact on the colour palette that you choose. So I'm going to take you down to see the canvases, to see the colours and all the consistencies. Let's see what we can create. So let me show you the colour palette for today, and you've guessed it, or I hope you can see, this is all autumn inspired colours. So this colour palette to me speaks autumn. So you can see I've got a range of colours, a range of brands. I've got Amsterdam, Winsor & Newton and Pebeo. And these are my two canvases. So I have two different base colours. I've got the bluish grey light and the gold yellow. So the whole point of this video today is to take these two colours on the base and use this colour palette on top, but on both canvases. So it's really about, do these colours have a different impact on these base colours? So all the consistencies are the same, 1 part paint to 1 part water. Just show you here. Just trickles off the spatula back into the paint, and that's the same with all of those colours. This is actually one of my most favourite ones, this one. But as you can see, it just trickles off and disappears. So I've got a good range of different colours. Let's go. So I'm now just going to take the base paint and I'm going to pour the paint from the cup onto the canvas for each canvas and each colour. And then I'm going to take my blow dryer on a cool setting, the lowest blow speed, and spread that paint across the full surface area of the canvas. Okay, I'm really happy with the consistency and the coverage. There's just a piece of paint just there. I'm just going to get that with my finger. And I always say that if we can get the consistency and the coverage right on the base, especially when we're doing a technique like the Dutch pour, then that's really half the battle. So if you get good coverage, good consistency, because you're going to be layering those paints on top of this base. So I'm now going to puddle the paints on the canvas. Remember, I'm using exactly the same colour palette on each canvas. The only difference is the base colour. So I'm going to try and puddle these paints in exactly the same areas on each canvas and then blow the paint out across the canvas using my blow dryer and then balancing in terms of composition the negative space with the pattern on top that are using those colours. So I'm just going to puddle them now and then we'll continue with the process. So I'm just going to use a little bit more of the yellow gold and the greyish blue on the base because I want good flow of paint across the canvas when I use my blow dryer. It's that base paint that's going to help all that other paint on top flow consistently. Before I do that, I'm just going to use my torch, and I use my torch here to pop any air bubbles. When you mix your paints up with paint and water or a pouring medium, as you mix, you're adding air into that mixture. So it's really important to just pop those air bubbles before we continue with the process. I'm now going to blow out each creation, and I'm going to try and do almost the same shape. But as we know with abstract fluid art, we're never going to be able to replicate exactly the same. So I'm just going to continue blowing, and I'm going to do one blow each time on each canvas just to try and maintain the shape and to show you how those colours can spread out. And the idea for this experiment was to use exactly the same colour palette but change the base colours, and we'll be able to see that effect shortly. So I'm now going to just take some time to blow the paint out, look at the composition, tweak some of those areas, and then I'll take you in to see the wet version. I'll leave it to dry and show you the dry version. I'm really happy with the overall look. I think you can see all those colours that I've puddled. I'm just going to use my torch one final time to pop any air bubbles, and then I'm going to take you in for a closer look. So remember, this was like an autumn vibe. I was using an autumn or a full colour palette. I'm happy with this. Let's give it the thumbs up and I'll take you in now so you can see. So let's start with this one. I'll just give you a quick look of this one with that gold yellow base. And then this one was the greyish blue. Do you have a favourite? So let me know in the comments below if you've got a favourite. I'm going to take you in now just so you can see some of those details. Have a look at how that paint has reacted with the base colour. How that paint has also reacted with all those other colours that were puddled. So the tones that are being created as they infuse. I love all those details, so let me take you in now for a close-up at the dry version. I left these to one side. They took a couple of days to dry, so just at room temperature. Really pleased with the outcome. I will varnish these. Once I sell a piece, I always varnish them using a gloss spray varnish by Winsor & Newton. I hope you've had fun experimenting with me using exactly the same colour palette, but changing up the colours that we use for our base colour. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much for all of your support. I appreciate each and every one of you. And let me know in the comments below if you've got a favourite. I think mine might be the greyish blue. Or maybe the yellow gold. I can't decide, so this is going to be sold as a pair. If you're interested, then drop me a message. But I really hope I get to see you again in the next video. Take care, everyone. Have a great week ahead, and I'll see you soon. Bye.